Well, we've been asked to provide a little guidance on the use of the SmartLabel tool in gCADPlus. You'll find SmartLabel up here, Plant Schedules and Lists, Smart Plant Label. I've used the SmartLabel tool in a number of ways here. Firstly, one pays attention to the current text style. So if I make standard the current text style, notice that I've created a narrower width for it. It's the current text style. And if I select this symbol here, you'll notice that it's Acacia Etiophila. It has a code of ACIT. I've labelled that symbol using the SmartLabel tool with a leader. That's this one here. I've also labelled it by just choosing a line, and here I've used a different font. So this has a different font that has the impact font. This font here that I first pointed to is, if we come up here, format text styles. There's one called uppercase. So let's run through the symbol. We'll move over here and we'll try and use SmartLabel to label this one. So right click, SmartLabel. Because I've used it before, it's in that group, but otherwise you'll get it from the gCADPlus drop down. I select the symbol and hit enter. Now I can choose to use a line or a leader. Now I find leader most flexible. Let's see if we can show you. So leader, the first point of the leader line comes over here, and I input that. Now I'm asked, do I want to pick up the code? Well, for most of my clients, I'd want them to see probably the common name. So we'll say, no, I don't want the code. I don't want the botanical name. I do want the common name. I don't want to count the number of symbols that are used there. And in goes the label. So when we right click to finish, when we click on it, you can see it's that particular symbol's been associated with an andina, and because that's unselected, or because we took a leader, that gives us the flexibility of being able to move the tag around and change the landing distance and so on. So there, because in my dimension style, my current text is that uppercase one, that's why we see it. Remembering that under format and text styles, that standard is the current. Let's now label, and we'll pick up we'll use a line rather like we've done there. So we'll again right click and say SmartLabel, pick this symbol, hit enter. We're going to use a line now as the marker. First point of the label, come over here and enter for the next step. We're asked this time for the text type. We'll leave it at 240. Do we want to pick the code? We'll stick with the same. No, 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 and in goes the label. You can see there it is, the Japanese sacred bamboo. It's picked up the common name, but because the font's very different, the uppercase font is much more compact, gives me a feel for a hand-drawn plan. And so when I go to layout now, all the symbols have been tagged. You can still see some of our line symbols, but I think you can see that as we move around, by using the leader option, getting the text style set in the dimension style, things work quite good. So let's zoom extents, and let's just check what this is going to look like as a PDF file. And we'll say OK, and we'll just click out there and then down here, and we'll put it on the desktop as test and save it. And that will pop up a PDF file, and we've got to shrink a little. So there's our drawing, our text here pushed off to the left hand side. So you can see that depending on your line weight settings, depending on the size of the sheet, you get a different result. You know, quite possibly want to use in generating the plant schedule that uppercase style. So again, you could argue there that the lettering for line work, there's a little faint. So let's close there and just drop back in here. Go back to the model and just check what's happening as far as line weight is concerned. It's set at 0.09, so let's bring it back to the default of 0.25 and we will apply that. And without further ado, we'll just go back to regenerating that one. So save as a PDF, and again click from there to there and overwrite that test one, and we'll see if we get some more detailed line work showing. I think that's significantly better, but you can see by experimenting with different line weights, different text styles, I think we can get to the sort of answers or sort of presentation that we want. We've got a fairly soft looking presentation there. So I hope you see that the SmartLabel tool is really quite useful.